I was just looking around yesterday, and I noticed this again last night. I looked around me, and I realized most people don't have their real personality. And I was thinking this yesterday. I was going to ask you about it, but we didn't get a chance.
Okay.
And I was like thinking, wow, most people don't have their real personality. I can see that they're not themselves, that they're someone else. And I thought, who or what? This is to you, Andre. Who or what creates our personality?
Who or what creates? I don't know the answer to that, but I can relate to what you're saying.
In what way?
In the way that I was sitting in my car a couple of days ago and realized that I thought that I should call my brother. And then I sat there and waited to see what my feelings told me, if I wanted to or not. But I knew in the beginning, originally, I wanted to because, I hadn't called him for a while, and I thought that I should call him and see what's up. But the interesting thing was that I sat there and waited. I saw myself waiting for a feeling to rise up to tell me whether I want to do it or not.
Yeah.
And I noticed that how much we're driven by those feelings.
Yeah.
We react upon what we feel rather than what's right.
There you go. What we feel rather than what's right.
So it was so interesting to see that I'm sitting there and I was literally waiting for a couple of seconds to see how I felt.
Yeah.
And what I felt was, well, you don't want to do it now. You can do it later. But no, that wasn't the right thing. It was the perfect time. I was doing nothing. I was driving. I could have called him.
Did you call?
I did, yeah.
Oh, you called him?
Yes, I did.
How did it go? It went well?
Very well.
See?
Yep, very well.
Yeah. So who or what created your personality?
I don't know who or what created my personality.
Are you yourself?
The more and more I'm aware, the more I notice that how much I haven't been myself.
Yes. I am, and for the last 24 years, I have been 23 years, I think. I am becoming myself, but I'm overcoming somebody else.
Exactly. Yep.
It's like I had someone else's personality and was not myself. Mm-hmm. And I can see that I'm overcoming somebody else's personality, and it's better to be me than to be them.
Yep.
Because being them, I was insecure and angry and emotional. I wasn't myself, and my real self is not like that.
Exactly.
Have you noticed that?
The real self wouldn't ever want to do anything wrong, wouldn't want to fear, wouldn't want to worry. The real self wouldn't want to do all those things.
Would not be angry and take things personally.
Yep.
Man, I was thinking that yesterday, and I'm looking at folks, I'm thinking, wow, most people are not themselves.
Yeah.
Andre, you were telling me one other thing about not being yourself, being somebody else.
Yeah, it exactly felt like that. I'm sitting there and waiting for a feeling. It's like sitting there waiting for someone to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And whoever that is, I don't know who that is. But for sure, it's like me sitting there and waiting for orders from somewhere to come, along with what I know is right to do, which was to call him at that point. But I sat there and waited for someone else, quote unquote, to tell me what to do. And that was via feelings.
Yeah. I've seen it for a while now in other people, but I was dealing with some people yesterday. That's when I asked you about it yesterday. I dealt with some people, and I realized I'm looking at these people, they're shy. They can barely speak up for themselves, or they're real angry. They're very emotional. I'm thinking, wow, that's not who that person is.
Yeah, why would you want to be like that, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking, wow, they're not themselves. It's something else that we are somebody else. And I know that because I am becoming myself, and I myself feel better than being someone else. But I realize that I am overcoming the spirit or the identity of my grandmother and mother.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's who I'm overcoming them. I used to know what my grandmother felt like, what she thought.
Wow.
I can feel her pain because I had her identity. I really did. I would feel sorry for her at times when I would see, just sense something about her. And I was an unhappy person being her, and I'm now overcoming that. And the real me is solid. I don't take things personally. Yeah. I am not emotional. I have no fear. I realize people can't help themselves, whereas my grandmother didn't realize that. And so now when I deal with people, I have none of those things. I can just be me with them. And that's something else, man.
That's nice.
Isn't
That's
that
very
something?
nice. Yep.
And by being me, I can be guided by what is right and not what I feel or think.
Yep. That's the best way.
There's nothing like that. It is so amazing. And it just reminded me, though, how you become like who you hate.
Yeah.
You become who you resent. Not all, but most people resent their mothers and grandmothers. In the white world, black world, Hispanic world, Japanese world, Asian world, Philippine world, it's that same spirit, and that's what we have to overcome. That's what it means to be born again, to overcome that spirit and take on the identity of God's spirit, which should have been of our Father, our earthly dads. And it really feels nice to be myself because I used to be that way, and it's weird living that way. It's like now my feet is planted on solid ground.
You know, this little conversation that you and I are having,
Yeah.
if people were aware enough and if they listened to it, it would free them up a lot.
It would. I also realized that there are two ways of seeing things.
Yes.
And there are the people of the darkness, and there are those of the light. And those of the darkness absolutely can't see. And the ones of the darkness are the ones who are emotional. And it's weird, too, because the ones who are of darkness are trying to convince the ones of the light that they should be of the darkness, too. That they should be emotional. Like women try, not all women, or not all, but they try to teach men to be emotional and feel what women feel and act like women. They're trying to bring men into the darkness to be like them. They're being seduced by the darkness, and a lot of men don't realize it because they're somewhat of the darkness because they have someone else's identity rather than their own. That is so interesting. But you have to be really seeking first the kingdom of God in his right way and looking at yourself and not at someone else in order to understand what I'm talking about.
Yes, looking at self. Yep.
You cannot afford to take eyes off self so that you can see what I'm talking about. Isn't that amazing? That is something else, man. And the more I wake up, the more I see that. And I wish, I desire that other people should wake up as well.